basketball, guys. The Cavs know their next round opponent, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Don't miss out. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. If anyone missed it, the ending to the Pacers-Bucks game last night was ludicrous, ridiculous. The Bucks were up 7 points with 40 seconds to go in overtime. They blew the lead. They lost the game. There was an altercation after, but that means we now know the Cavs' next round opponent. The Cavs and the Pacers will tip off Game 1 on Sunday. The time is still be determined.
We don't know any of the other games, right? Any days?
Just Sunday is the only thing we know. Okay. Game 1 will be Sunday here at Rocket Arena.
It's got 1 p.m. written all over it.
I hope.
Well, you're going to have
I really hope it's 1 p.m.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? I like a day game, too.
Get in, get out.
Well, you're going to have
you could have some other Game 7.
Warriors-Rockets would be a Game 7 that day. Potentially T-Wolves-Lakers would also play that day. Do we think either of those are going to go Game 7?
No, I don't think either's going to go Game 7.
All right, go ahead.
Earl, what do you make of this series, though? Indiana, a significant step up over Miami. And you look at the 3-4 matchups they played this season. Indy did technically win 3 of the 4, but the last game was the last game of the season. The Cavs had called off the Dogs. They didn't play anybody. And none of these games happened.
That game doesn't matter. You can't even.
That's why I'm just giving the context.
Well, both of those are meaningless, the last two.
I'm just giving context.
Right.
It happened. The first two.
It's poor context.
The first two happened before DeAndre Hunter was on the team. So hard to look at anything that happened this season from these two to predict what happens in the playoffs. But Earl, what do you make? First thoughts on this Cavs-Pacers second-round series?
I think it's going to be fun. I think Indiana plays at a very, very high pace. They were one of the few teams that finished in the top 12 in defensive and offensive rating this season. They have a coach that has championship pedigree, and they got a point guard that's a playmaker and can go out there and get a bucket. I think that they have length, and I think that the Cavaliers could possibly face some matchup issues when it comes to Indiana. I think it's a great test as we get ourselves prepared to, possibly get to the Eastern Conference Finals. For me, I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers just continue to play Cavaliers basketball, come out here and be efficient on offense like they've been all season, and take that level of dominance that they put on display from the second quarter in Game 3 throughout the entire rest of the series. If they can come out there and set a tone like that, then I don't think Indiana is going to cause that much of an issue like most people might think they would.
Cavs are the best team in the Eastern Conference, I think, right now. At least they look like they've got their stuff together. They look healthy. The way that they took care of business in that game against Miami guys in Game 4 was just unbelievable. I wasn't here to talk about it with you guys, but it was insane. I mean, you didn't have to even watch the game. Yeah. They were up 40 points at halftime. Like, insane.
It felt like I could have named their score. I think
kind of felt bad for the Heat, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, I did
it was
too.
So embarrassing for them.
Their minds were on Cancun 3 minutes into that game.
What did Barkley say? They don't get Cancun.
They send them to Galveston. As someone who spent many days at Galveston, trust me, Cancun is a lot better.
I heard, oh God, my brain is just completely shut down. What's his name? He's on
Broussard.
Nice job. You read my mind. He was saying that he thinks the Cavs are going to win the Eastern Conference. He thinks they're better than the Celtics. I said this yesterday, before this series against the Heat, I didn't think there was anything the Cavs could do against the Heat that would change my mind about their chances of winning a championship. I still don't think there's any kind of short thing they're going to beat the Celtics, but I feel better about their chances right now than I did before this series because they just dominated in such a way. Even with the stupidity from some fans that the Cavs are better off without Darius Garland, which is such high-level stupidity, it's hard to believe. But they just have such great depth, and they're so well-rounded as a team.
There are teams, so it's maybe different how we see them.
Yeah.
But I wonder if other teams and other fans look at the Cavs and are like, they're unstoppable. They're like the Golden State Warriors of 2015.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people disregard the Cavs a little bit because as good a team as the Cavs are, they don't have the super, super elite individual player. As good as Donovan is, he's not in that top group of players.
That's the big knock.
Right? And Oklahoma City does and Boston does.
Well, we would if he was more selfish.
I guess. I mean,
I mean, I think
don't know.
I think he's every bit as good as some of those elite players you just mentioned.
Is he as good as SGA?
Well, I mean,
I love Donovan.
Is he as good as Jason Tatum?
okay,
I think
Quite as good as those guys.
All right, so Mike, let us
And
ask you
that's
this
it.
question.
That's not even a knock. It's just that's why people look at the
Because
Cavs
I feel
a
what
little
Dustin
different.
is saying. Let's say
SGA
hypothetically,
averages 30 points.
let's say
32 points.
hypothetically, Donovan was the same height as SGA or Jason Tatum. Mike, would you consider Donovan
But
better
they're
than
not,
either one?
So that's a
I'm
yeah.
trying to get to a bigger point. Like,
right, but he'd be better defensively if you
when you
recall.
look at and I don't want to turn this into Donovan verse because it's not where does Donovan rank in the league. Donovan's an incredible player. He's going to make all NBA first team this season. He deserves to make all NBA first team this season. I think he's going to finish 5th in MVP voting. SGA is a better defender and a more efficient scorer, and Tatum is bigger and an elite rebounder for it. He just does things that Donovan doesn't do. They have more well-rounded overall games.
This is not a slight at Donovan Mitchell. He is
I think he's the 7th best player in the league.
right. I mean,
And
he's
you
a
name 2
great
of the
player.
6 guys that I think are better than
He's
him.
just not in that first tier. It's like saying, who's the best quarterback besides the big 4 in the NFL?
Jaden Daniels?
Or let's say it's Jaden Daniels. I think he's got to do it more than one more year, but okay.
Herbert, if you want to use Herbert.
Herbert, fine. Jaden, those guys are excellent quarterbacks. They're just not at the top level. That's what Donovan Mitchell is. He's top of tier 2, which is far from an insult. Great player.
He's one of the top.
But that's why I think
he's probably
people
a top
underrate
15
them.
player in the league.
Absolutely.
I think he's top 10. I think he's that good. Top 10, but you guys named 2 of the top 5. And I do think there's a little bit of a difference.
And that's it. You look at the other 2 teams, the 3 best teams in basketball, however order you want them, are Boston, Cleveland, and Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
So their superstars are a little better than our superstar. And while our team as a whole may end up being better and we may win a championship, I think the reason people are going to lean towards those other teams is their best player is a little better than our best player.
But that's not the case in this series because Donovan.
That's correct.
And even Evan, we could go back and forth, and we're going to have some Pacers guests on in the next couple of days to talk about some of the things Indiana brings to the table. The Cavs might have the 2 best players in this series because I think Donovan's the clear number 1.
Yeah.
And Evan is right there on the exact same level, if not better, than Halliburton, Siakam, and Darius, who may or may not play in the early part of the series. He said it's a pain tolerance thing with a toe. Dustin, have you ever had a toe injury?
Yes, turf toe.
Can you talk about the difficulty with a toe injury? Because Darius
It's debilitating.
said it's a pain tolerance thing. It's it's not going to heal because I'm not going to get off my foot. It's all about pain tolerance.
Yeah, I mean, well, the injury I had was a ligament injury, turf toe, and it just doesn't go away. It's a very, very
brutal.
painful experience that I had for really my whole senior year of high school football, and got it again a little bit in the pros too. It's like you don't think about that little toe as something that really can be a factor, but you can't push off in the big toe. So that was a problem for me. It sucks because it's such a little. I wish you could cut the damn thing off, but you got to have the ball of your foot to actually plant and go. You know what I mean?
So what's his status? Do we know if he's going to be able to go game 1?
We don't know game 1. It's good that they have a whole week off. It gives them from they last played Monday. He hasn't played since it was Saturday, Monday were the games, so he hasn't played since game 2. He'll have a week and a half off. He said it's not going to heal. It's just pain tolerance.
So does resting, will it make it better?
Ask the guy who had a toe injury.
Well, he didn't have the exact same injury. I don't,
Yeah, I'm just saying I had a toe injury that was a ligament, soft tissue in the toe. They're calling his what now? Specifically,
it's a toe sprain.
Toe sprain. All right, so
big toe sprain.
That's what it.
So
he
resting
basically
it
has the same injury.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, do you at this point would you sit him for the first game, and if you win, would you keep sitting him until
these things don't go
you feel
away.
like you need him?
Well,
or is it going to?
Dude, it's going to be if he has this injury, it's not going away.
Right.
He's going to have to deal with the entire playoffs.
Right. They're going to they could probably get by against Indiana without him, Mike. Don't you think?
Dude, they're going to put
They can't beat Boston
Indiana's
without
good.
him. I don't think.
Hold on.
They're going to put a metal plate in
Yeah.
his shoe,
Yeah.
so his toe doesn't have to bend as much. He's going to be
Right.
limited when
Yeah.
he plays. I mean, he's going to be able to play as long as he's able to deal with the pain.
Yeah.
And they'll probably juice it up a little bit too, I'm sure. But he's got to be careful.
You don't think they could beat Indiana without him?
I'm not saying they can. I'm just saying I think a lot of people are overlooking Indiana.
he'll play.
Indiana's a very good team.
Okay, then let me make it clear, because I was not overlooking. I think ultimately, I expect this to be a good series, and I think ultimately they could beat him without obviously their chances are less, I still think they can win. I don't think they can beat Boston without Garland.
I don't think they can beat Boston without Garland. I think you're right. They probably could beat Indiana.
Right. Again, I like their
Indiana's
chances less. If you
good.
thought they had an 80% chance of beating Indiana or 75, then you got to knock it down without Garland. But I still think in the end, I'd have them as over a 50% chance of winning even without Garland. But not, so.
Indy's good.
So
and
I'm thinking, do you rest him until you lose a game?
I don't hate that idea. Let me give you a couple of things that Indiana does that Miami had no chance to do.
Right, they're way better than Miami.
Significant.
Sure.
A, they can score. They could actually score the basketball. Miami could not score the basketball. And when you're not scoring, then your defense drops. It's complementary football, but just on a basketball court. They have depth. When the Heat took out Hero or Bam or whoever, they were playing with guys that would be the 15th guy in the Cavs.
Yeah.
Indiana has 10 players averaging double-digit points in the playoffs.
Right.
Now, granted, it's 5 games. They had, Steve, you want to take, where to make this graphic? 280. So you know Halliburton, Siakam, their 2 best players.
Sure.
Their next 6 leading scorers are all guys who play legitimate minutes. 5 of them scored double-digit points in the regular season. And Jarris Walker's a defensive rebounding guy who's super active. But Matherin's a good player. Turner's a good player. Neesmith's a good player. Toppin's a good player. Nembhard's a good player. You don't see T.J. McConnell on that list, but McConnell's a pain in the ass to play against.
So
they can go depth for depth with Cleveland.
Right.
So when the second units come in, it's not a complete bloodbath like it was against Miami.
And it's not a situation where you can play off a certain player because everybody can score.
They have real guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
Yeah.
they're known as an offensive team. They like to run, they play fast.
Yeah.
They can get crazy hot any night. But over the last 20 games of the regular season and in the first round of the playoffs, they've been a top 10 defense.
Well, what do you make of that? You buying that?
They had to start winning games, and Jarris Walker came back and got healthy, and him being in the rotation defensively helps. I don't think they're going to be able to shut down Cleveland by any means. Cleveland will be able to get their points against them, but when you go back to that first matchup they played this year, Earl, you and I were sitting together at Rocket Arena. Remember they full court pressed that whole game? Mm-hmm. And it was right after some of those weird Atlanta games, and we said, oh, that's weird. They full court pressed them.
Yeah.
Cleveland hadn't lost in forever. They have the size, the length, and the speed and the physicality to just make things more difficult for Cleveland than they've had been against Miami and at the end of the regular season.
Earl, on a scale of 1 to 100, how much does the regular season matchups versus the Pacers mean to you?
0.5.
1 to 100. That is
1.
not between 1 and 100.
1.
1. Dustin.
10.
I'm with Earl. 1.
I say 15.
15, Mike.
At 100, yeah, 15. They showed because they tried to do the same thing in Game 2 against Cleveland.
Yeah.
Indy won that first matchup. They played like 4 nights later, whatever it was, and Cleveland scored 127. And we talked about on the show the next day, hey, Indiana did this with great success, and they caught Cleveland off guard in Game 1, then Cleveland countered in Game 2. There's going to be a lot of adjustments from there, but
those games were early in the season. These last two games were
but I'm saying
meaningless.
it at least gives you some insight into how Indiana thought in that first matchup when Cleveland was top of the league.
Yeah.
How they wanted to try and slow them down. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily translate again, but without Donovan, without Darius, if he's potentially hindered, they're going to press. They're going to full court trap, and they're going to try to get physical with these guys on the perimeter. And Darius is a key component in breaking that pressure. If he's a little hindered, I think it just shows something. I'm picking Cleveland to win the series. Don't get what I'm saying misconstrued.
Don't get it twisted.
But Indiana's a legitimate playoff opponent.
Yeah, I think we all
No,
understand
Indy is
that.
legit.
Indy
I
can
guess
win
my
this
whole
series.
thing is like those first 2 games that we allude to, those was DeAndre Hunter was not even a part of this team yet.
Right.
So
Correct.
technically the real version of the Cavaliers that Indiana is going to see, they haven't seen that version of the Cavaliers yet. And the Cavaliers did a good job of kind of not showing their hand until you got to the playoffs. There are lineups that Kenny Atkinson can deploy that Indiana might not be ready for. And I think that when you have guys like Sam Merrill that has played much better from the first couple times we played Indiana into now, and guys who have kind of like understood their role and what they bring to the table, I just don't see it being that much of an impact. I think this is a tougher test, and I think that they too, like Miami, have a very, very good head coach. But I think when it comes down to it, when adjustments is made after Game 1, I think their personnel just won't be able to outlast ours in the long run.
I think the biggest difference here, it seems simple, and the Cavs know this. Miami had no chance of winning that series.
0.
None. The Indiana Pacers can win this series.
They can win the series.
They're certainly not the favorites. We expect the Cavs to win, But the Pacers can win. Like, if the Cavs don't play their best basketball, they can lose.
They can get
the
got.
Cavs could get away with a C effort and still beat Miami. Certainly a B effort. You play a C effort against Indiana, you're going down.
Yeah, they can score.
Yeah.
And they could get hot, and that means that the Cavaliers have to bring their A game. They got to be healthy, and we're going to need Garland. I mean, I'm telling you, he's going to play. He'll be limited. Not saying I can't put a percentage on it, but he's not going to be 100%.
So you think there's no benefit in sitting him a little longer?
If he has a toe sprain, it's not going to, I mean, it could get better with like a month off. He's not going to get a month off.
He's not going to get a month.
No, he getting that.
Let me ask you a question real quick before we pivot to the Guardians. We talk about playoff experience all the time, right? And the Cavs, none of the guys besides Tristan Thompson have made it out of the second round. Donovan in his career hasn't done it. DeAndre Hunter has with Atlanta once.
Yeah.
Indy made the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They do have the experience of getting past round 2 in the playoffs, albeit against a completely injured and not up to full strength Knicks team.
Although aren't two of their good players, weren't they on the Knicks last year, right?
Who?
Or was it 2 years ago they made that move?
Toppin was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, it was 2 years ago.
But I'm just curious, do you think that plays any factor in this whatsoever, considering they do have a little more playoff experience than Cleveland, but only a little bit?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd give them. You got to give them some points for that, I guess.
What are the odds, Mike, on the series? Like
Cleveland is minus 425 to win the series,
and the Cavs, I believe, are a 7.5-point favorite in Game 1 at home.
I didn't see a line on the Game 1 yet,
I think I saw 7.5. I'll double check that.
I can give Indiana some credit for having that experience, getting out the second round and making it, as far as they did. But I can also give them credit because they have a head coach that's won an NBA championship. And so it's not like they're not going to be prepared to play or they don't understand the moment. But I think when it comes to our guys, only Tristan has made it out the second round. But when you hear Evan, Darius, and Donovan talk about this journey together and, kind of going through the ups and downs of being eliminated in a play-in and being eliminated by the Knicks and being eliminated by Boston last round, that's experience too. You might not have made it out of the second round, but all that is a correlation of experience, and you hope that the Cavs can put everything together and do what they have to do to complete this entire journey this year.
Yeah, depending on where you look, it's either 7.5 or 8.5, by the way. I mean, listen, the Cavs have gotten, as Earl said, some playoff experience the last couple of years. Obviously, Indiana's gone deeper. I don't know that the difference right now of Indiana getting to the conference finals versus the Cavs getting to the semifinals is that big a difference, but I guess we'll see. Meanwhile, the Knicks lost to the Pistons last night, so that series is 3-2. Anybody think the Pistons can win the next two and win that series?
No.
I think they can force a Game 7.
I think they could force a Game 7.
Game 6 in Detroit.
I think they'll force a
I
Game 7, but
Game 7.
I think they'll lose a Game 7.
So you think Detroit wins 6 and then the Knicks win 7 at home?
Yeah.
Or that's what you got? What do you got, Dustin?
I mean, the Knicks will win in 7.
Knicks in 7. Mike, you got Knicks in 7?
No, I think Knicks in 6. Also, Max Strus did make the finals. I always forget him when I talk about the Cavs.
It's a bad job out of you.
Big picture stuff, bad job.
But
So let's make our predictions real quick.
But the Cavs have not gotten there as a team.
As a team, exactly. The premise
You
of
want
what
the
I said
predictions
made
today?
sense.
We don't play
just
the
real
Sunday.
quick. We'll change it, but
All right, what do you got,
what do you think?
Earl?
We'll make our official predictions on
Wednesday.
Friday, but before we get to that point, Earl, what are you feeling? Cavs and what?
Cavs in 6.
Dustin?
5.
I got 5 also.
Gentlemanly.
I'm going 6.
Competitive. I think the games will be close and the Cavs will just pull out a lot of close games.
I actually think I think Game 1 will be a close game. I think like whatever that spread is, 7.5.
7, yeah.
It'll be tight. It'll be like that. It'll be like a 4-point game, 3-point game late.
I like the over, too. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm going 6. I'm also working on getting Pat Boylan, the play-by-play announcer for the Pacers, who's terrific.
Very nice.
At this kind of media on the show tomorrow. I was texting with him this morning, so we're trying to lock that in. So we'll make sure you have plenty of Cavs Pacers preview coverage in the coming days to get you ready for Sunday's Game 1.
Before you move on, do the Rockets and or Lakers avoid elimination tonight at home? Earl.
I think Ant-Man is too much for LA.
And what about the Rockets?
I think the Rockets can avoid elimination.
All right, they avoid it. Dustin. Rockets, Lakers, they avoid elimination at home.
Both do.
Both do.
I'm with Dustin. Both avoid elimination.
I agree, too. I think both avoid elimination as well. And Nuggets, Clippers, the Nuggets tied at 3 tomorrow.
Toss-up, dude.
Tomorrow.
Toss-up.
I say the Nuggets win the last 2 and win the series.
Has that been the best series in the playoffs?
Nuggets are up 3-2.
Like the
I'm sorry. The Nuggets are up 2.
of the opening round series, either conference, has that been the best series that y'all have watched?
I don't know. Knicks Pistons has been.
Knicks Pistons
those
has
two
been
have
good.
been the
Knicks
best.
Pistons have been a dogfight.
I honestly
Yeah.
enjoyed, even though it was petty, the stupid stuff that like the Rockets Warriors game the other night. Like I think it's getting chippy out there. With these
Yeah, it
guys.
is.
I mean, Draymond.
They want to kill each other.
They do want to kill
Yeah.
each other. Nobody's going to really do anything. Like Charles is right. Charles Barkley's
Yeah.
right. No one's really good. They're fake tough guys,
Yeah.
but it's kind of fun.
Oh, it is.
Did you see, before we move on,
Yeah.
in that Warriors-Rockets series, did you see the exchange between Dylan Brooks and Jimmy Butler at the free throw line?
No.
Oh yeah.
So they were jawing at each other, and I can't
don't like
use the
Jimmy
words
Butler.
that was being said, but
I don't
Jimmy
like
was
Dylan Brooks.
saying something to
I don't like either one of them.
Dylan Brooks. The referee thought he was talking to him. So the referee came over like ready to tee up Jimmy, and Jimmy
Yeah.
goes, no, it's talking to Dylan Brooks. And Dylan Brooks' reputation across the league is so low that the referee said, okay, keep going, and just walked away and allowed him to continue to talk
That's funny.
right to
Yeah.
his face.
That's funny.
So, yeah.
And real quick, before you move on,
Shoot,
what did
yeah,
you,
of course.
what did you
What's
think
up?
about the game last night? Russell Westbrook came off the bench, had 16 in the first half. Jamal Murray had another 40-point playoff performance. Just you, the basketball guy, what did you think of those two players?
Russell Westbrook giveth just as much as
He
Russell
taketh.
Westbrook
He taketh.
taketh. He is the best player for 60 seconds on the court and then the worst player for 60 seconds on the court. It is,
You better hope that those bad 60 seconds are not the final
Yeah.
60 seconds of the game.
Yeah,
Because he will cost you a game.
listen, I enjoy Russ. I think his career has been one of the most interesting basketball
Going
careers.
to be a Hall of Famer, though.
I was
he's
about to ask
100%
Mike
Hall
like
of
that.
For sure.
The Hall of
100% a
Famer,
Hall of
for sure.
Famer.